Welcome to the Dragon Slayer podcast by East Idaho Credit Union. My name is Steven. With me, as always, is Bailey. And today, our guest, Teasha Buxton from the Sun Gun Tanning. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited
We're
to
excited
be here.
to have you here. Yeah,
Thank
this is
you.
awesome. We knew that you love donuts.
Yes.
And so where are these from, Bailey?
Baker's Dozen.
Baker's Dozen.
Oh, cool.
Baker's Dozen.
That's fancy.
Is this a place that you like, that you go to?
Yeah, but I don't wake up soon enough to make it in. One of those. So This is a real treat.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we have here, Bailey? Which one should we have?
I tried to get some of their specialty ones, and so we've got like their blueberry one, which I think they're famous for.
Is that cream cheese in it?
I
or
don't know.
what's
I've
in
never
that?
seen them stuffed.
It looks like marshmallow fluff.
Oh gosh.
I don't know because this one has like a whipped cream center, so maybe it's like a
Maybe
whipped cream.
Similar thing.
Yeah. We've got like.
How do people eat these for breakfast?
I don't know.
You've got your
Straight up.
classic maple chocolate.
I think I'm gonna go Fruity Pebbles.
Nice.
I think that's what I want to try.
You know, when I picked that, I was like, this seems like a Steven donut.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
Anybody else? Anyone?
I think I'm going to try the blueberry marshmallow.
There you go.
looking one.
Nice.
Yeah. I got a little sprinkling of Fruity Pebbles on there too.
Yeah, perfect.
Solid.
Perfect.
Okay, so now that you have something to eat, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions so you
Great.
can't eat it.
Perfect.
So, Teasha, first of all, tell us about your business. Tell us about what you do. Then we're going to go backwards in time
Okay.
and talk about how you got there.
Okay,
Okay?
awesome.
Okay, so let's start with where are you at today?
Okay, so today I am the owner of the Sun Gun Tanning. We're a custom spray tan empire. I like to say it. So not only do we have our storefront where people can come in and get custom tans, but we also have products that we sell and ship all over the place. So yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to show like how little I know about this topic. I've never had any kind of tan before other than just being outside. So for the uninitiated, what would it look like? What would I do when I walk into your business?
Yeah. So basically, what it is you would book an appointment typically before you come in.
Yep.
Then you come in and we have this whole consultation because where we custom mix every color, we need to know a little bit more about your skin tone.
So how do you like? What
Yeah,
do you
so
do?
depending
What do
on
you
what
look
your skin does in the sun. So like when you go out, do you burn but then it turns into a tan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So you're going to be what I call level 2.
Level 2.
In our spray
Best
tan
level,
math.
guys.
Yeah. So that tells me how much of a percentage of DHA I can put on your skin without it turning unnatural
Like-
warm colors that we don't want.
like orangey and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Okay,
you'll
so-
notice I won't ever use that word. That's a buzzword
That's a
in
buzzword,
my
yeah.
in my business. So I'll always say like mango or warm. I'm
love
trying
that.
to retrain. It has such a bad rap. I put a lot of effort into like
Mango.
retraining.
I'll never call it orange again.
Oh no, you're great. You're great. Just know I won't.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so what DH, is that what you said?
DHA.
DHA,
So it's
what
just
is
a
that?
fancy word for the tanning agent that when it's applied to your skin,
Mm-hmm.
there's actually like a chemical reaction that happens with the acidic properties on your skin. So I describe it like, when you leave a banana out after you peeled it and it starts to oxidize and turn brown,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they've taken the science. So spray tans are just sugar. They've taken
Oh.
that through a chemical process and broken it down. So then when it's applied to your skin, it changes color.
So does
Yeah.
does it sit on top of your skin and you leave it, or do you put it on, wash it off, and you're tan? I
So
sound
it's
like
both.
an idiot
No,
here. I
no,
don't
it's
understand this
both.
at all. Okay.
So it's
Good.
applied to your skin and it's absorbed into that top layer. And then when you rinse off like the pretty bronzers and stuff, then you're left with that top layer being stained, and it lasts for as long as that top layer lasts.
Huh. Which is
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay.
and depending, like if you prep really well, and we give really good instructions, like you paid good money for your tan, I want it to last you as long as possible. So we have a really good checklist to give all of our clients.
So do you like
explaining-
scrub off everything
Yeah,
before
so
you
you want
show
to
up?
exfoliate really well. So we have a nice clean canvas so your skin is sloughing off all at the same rate. That's why we want you to exfoliate really well. And then
Interesting. There's something weird about my skin sloughing off. That sentence makes me feel weird. Yeah.
shedding, I don't know. I don't know what
Like a
That seems
snake.
worse.
Yeah.
which in my world, that's just like a normal
Yeah.
phrase. I've never thought about it that's like might be a little weird. Anyways.
Well,
yeah.
for people who are used to this, I'm sure it's not a big event.
Yeah.
I've literally never even been to a tanning place ever.
Yeah.
Never done it before. Okay.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So you also sell things that I can take home and do this with?
Yeah.
So
So
tell me
during
about that.
during the pandemic, so I'd actually been working on this for like a year. And then during the pandemic is actually when I rolled it out and we tested it and it was amazing. So it's just our custom mousse. Again, people come onto our website, they fill out a quiz so I can figure out their skin tone.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to take all the guessing out of it. There's a lot of fear that's behind spray tanning and self tanning. You don't want to mess it up. No one wants to look like that girl from high school, you
Right.
know? And so
Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The bad rap that we're like talking about. So I wanted to eliminate the fear and let everyone feel like they could do this. So I'm like, if you take my quiz, a professional will make sure to like mark all over your bottle how long you leave it on for, so it's customized to every one person. Because let's say, like, what's your skin tone? What does your skin do in the sun? Do you just burn or do you tan really easy?
I burn.
Okay, so you would be like a level 1. So the color that I would use for you would not be the same.
Yeah.
So, right, like that's what's so great about it being so
really cool.
customizable. So with our products, we're able to almost have me at home with them in a non-creepy way.
You seem very
love
nice.
that.
It might be okay to have
Yeah,
you over.
I don't know.
Okay, so what kind of skin do you have? What level are you?
I'm a level 2.
You're level 2. What's a level 3?
They just think of the sun and they're tan.
Oh,
They're just tan all
those
the time.
people.
Those
That's
people.
Andrea back here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But actually, like, because if people tan like so much with self tanner, you can become like DHA resistant.
Oh.
So then you can actually like we would have to like bump up your level.
Oh, I
So
didn't
then
know
you would
this.
kind of like go into a 3.
Interesting.
Dang.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
crazy.
so when you put this stuff on your skin and you wash it off and you've gone darker, when you go out into the sun, does the sun react to your skin differently?
you'll still
or
tan.
exactly the same as
Yeah,
how
it's
it would be?
kind of the same. So
Would it keep
when-
you from burning? Like
No, that's a great question.
Okay.
It doesn't have any protection against the sun, so you still want to wear sunscreen. But it's great for like when you're going on vacation because you literally show up tan, and then as your tan is sloughing off, you're still getting the sun naturally, and so you show up tan and you leave tan. It's the best.
Yeah. How many men do you have come in?
We have quite a few,
A
actually.
lot of men.
And my branding is not to attract them. Like it is straight up pink. Like have you seen my
I've seen-
car?
I've seen
It's
it.
pink,
Yeah.
okay? But we have a lot of like husbands that come in for vacations, family pictures. After they want like us to fix their tan lines and stuff. And us being right next to the gym, we have had like an influx. But
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what would you say the percentage is between men and women?
it's more women for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but every once in a while, like I said, around vacation time, spring break, stuff like that, then we'll have like a little bit of an influx where then I feel a little bit bad handing them a pink chapstick at the end of their service. So I
Come
started
again.
Love
stocking
it.
some, neutral colors for the men.
Very
But,
nice.
yeah.
Very nice. So men, you're welcome to come too.
You are, yeah.
Is anybody embarrassed?
I love this question.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
And yes, they are. But I have salon rules when they come in that they can't apologize for their stretch marks. They can't apologize for, their curves or if they have like a scar. My whole thing from like the very beginning is like all bodies are welcome. All bodies are beautiful. We all have a story, even though mine might be a little bit different. And in the beginning, I had a hard time actually sharing my story because I felt like I had no right, where I actually have a hard time gaining weight and stuff like that. And I've always struggled with that. Doctors making my mom leave the room to ask me if I had an eating disorder, stuff like that. And so, or like women coming to me like, oh, you can't spray me. Like, there's no way you're seeing me naked. And I'm like, oh, we all have stuff, and like, I loved spray tans for myself because of the confidence that it gave me. You know, like I might not be able to go shop in like the adult section. In high school, I had to still shop in like the junior section with my younger siblings, and I hated that feeling, but a spray tan like always fit. You know, and so I loved how it like literally was like liquid confidence that was being sprayed on my body. And so anyways, later on I ended up starting like to share a little bit of my story, and I think it helped open up a little bit of the other side, but I was scared for sure for the first little bit. But yeah, to answer your question, they are, and they're my favorite. When they come in and they'll literally stand there, and we let them like whatever your comfort level is, and I tell them like half the time you're going to end up going naked anyways, just because you're like, I don't care. I just want to be tan.
Enjoying it so
exactly.
much.
Like, it's not even that big of a deal. I'm like, eventually it's going to happen anyways. But in the process of it, I'll notice them like literally in their shell. Like you can feel the energy in the room. And I feel like I have developed such an awesome like process where I literally make them forget everything.
You put on music for them?
Yeah, so we do that, but it's mainly just getting them talking about their lives. Like, what are they doing? I don't really like surface level conversation. I'm like, I want to know your dreams. I want to know like about your kids. I want to know all of it. So if I can get them distracted on that, and then as we're going through the process, I can literally see like their walls come down. Like it is so cool where they'll be kind of like standing there kind of covered, and then all of a sudden by the end they're like best friends. They don't even care. I'm like, oh well, you can put your clothes on now. Like we're good. And so those are my favorite when they come in, because I'm like, it's a challenge and I know I'm good at it, and I can't wait to help them feel that best version of themselves. So
you know, something that's interesting is we've done this podcast with a lot of our guests. They have, you know, some business and some product that they sell, but ultimately they all come back to saying like, oh, I'm in the people business, right? Like really that's what I do, which is exactly what you're talking about here. Okay, so how many naked people have you seen then?
I don't remember. It's so funny because I tell people all the time, right, when they start to go into the apologizing game, which again, that makes them feel better, but I let them know like, you don't have to do that here. Like, we're good, you know, but I won't ever like shut someone down if that's what's making them feel more comfortable. But it's like it's blurred. It's just my job. I'm more focused on how the solution is absorbing into their skin. Do they have any leftover products? Is there maybe some skin conditions that I need to like tell them about? Stuff like that that's going to like affect their tan. So honestly, I don't remember. People come in with tattoos. I have no idea. Like
it's just all blurred together.
Yeah.
I feel like if I came in and you're like, yeah, okay, to your comfort level, I'd probably like put on a sweater and a pair of corduroys and just feel safe, you know?
There,
just
there
feel
you
good.
go. There you go.
I do have to say, so I got a spray tan with you guys before. And
you've been before. Okay.
And the experience was amazing. I was a little bit hesitant because it was the first time I'd done a spray tan that wasn't like a machine one. And so you're like with a person and I'm like, oh, this could be weird. But it was totally normal. You guys made me feel super comfortable. You didn't see me naked, but it was your other person.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yeah, good. I love hearing that.
Best spray tan I'd ever had. It was amazing.
I love hearing that. Well, thank you for coming to see us, that we could take care of you.
Okay, so let's step back in time just a little bit here.
Let's do it.
How did you get to this? How did this happen to you?
Okay, so I got pregnant with my first and couldn't tan anymore. So like growing up, my mom had a tanning bed in her closet. Okay, we lived in Intrigues, aka Alaska. So we needed some of that vitamin D to get us through. So I grew up tanning or whatever, and then after being pregnant with my son, and you just don't feel the best when you're pregnant. And anyways, and so I got a couple spray tans, and they weren't awesome, and I was really heartbroken. I was like, why isn't this awesome? Like I was so excited. So basically, it just kind of happened out of a need for myself. And I noticed looking around, like all of the people that I was getting spray tans from, it was a side thing for them. Like they had they were in like, aesthetics, or it was part of like them doing hair. It was just a little side thing. And so I was like, there's no one that just specializes in this. And so I actually started out mobile, and I was like, oh, this will be my niche is that I'll go to people's houses. They don't have to get babysitters. It'll be perfect. And I learned on very quickly in the beginning, people don't care. They would actually rather come to me. They were asking to come to my house, and I set up my stuff in my daughter's room, and they would rather do that than like worry about their kids walking in or, you know, just that type of stuff. And so I was like, okay, cool. The first time I like pivoted, and I was very resistant to that because I was like, no, this is my plan. This is what we're gonna do. This is how I'm gonna make it, right? And so then very shortly after that, a local boutique reached out to me and was like, hey, would you want to come here? And so then I started spraying out of there, and then that's when everything just started.
So you bring up like a really interesting point here, and that's you had the plan, and then you realized, oh, that plan's not right.
Yeah.
How did you make the decision to pivot off of the mobile side and going to more of a brick and mortar model?
That I could fit more people in my time frame. It was more work smarter, not harder situation. And so, and then when I realized they didn't care, then I'm like, why am I taking an hour and a half when I can literally get them in 30 minutes?
Yeah.
So it was just that.
Was it hard to give up on the first plan?
It was a little bit, but I feel like once I figure something out, like that's working with my ideal client and figuring that out, because I was like, I want to spray everyone. I want to spray you. I want to spray your mom. I want to spray, you know what I mean? And then learning like, oh, actually, I enjoy spraying people that are like me. Busy moms, like entrepreneurs. And I know that's what I started attracting was more people like me. And then I was like, I'm not going to focus on, you know, marketing for prom because that's not my ideal client. I want her mom, not her, you know? So, yeah, once I figured out kind of like going more towards like that fit more into my ideal client anyways, that it was an easy switch. Yeah.
Okay, so keep going. So you're in the boutique now, and then what happens?
And then I'm starting to do a lot of like networking events. I'm constantly like connecting with people, and then very quickly after I was in the boutique, I learned, oh, it's not what you know. It's literally who you know. It's the connections that you make. And I tease all the time that I collect people in a non-murderer way.
Your freezer isn't full of human heads.
No. Yeah. I just love like talented people. And you'll see like in my business, I love to delegate. I know what I'm good at. I know what I love. And then I push everything else out to the stuff I don't like to do. And so I'm always kind of like looking for those people. And I don't know if that's like a healthy way. I think it is, but also like when you're kind of like saying it out loud, it's kind of like, oh, I'm literally just like looking for people to help me all the time. But that's not my mindset around it. Yeah. Normally in it is I'm like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Like I want to support you in your business. Like this is awesome. So that's kind of my mindset around it. And then it just organically flows into it helps my business in the long run anyways. So it's a win-win.
I think it's fantastic. You know, the best CEOs I've ever seen are the best, not because they know how to do everything, but because they can find the people that can do everything for them, or do everything for the business. So how do you go about, in a non-creepy way, collecting people, right? How do you find, identify, and say, yeah, I want this person involved? How does that happen?
So going to live events, because the people that are also there are doing the exact same thing. They're wanting to get in front of the people that are like-minded like them, right? And so once you get in a room full of those same people, just like what you guys do with this podcast, it's literally like magic. It's just, you can feel that energy. It like lights you up. And I'm such an extrovert that it literally gives me life. Where my husband is literally taking me on a trip this next weekend so I can talk to people so he doesn't have to. So they just give me life. So anyways, like going to these live events, and then I invested in myself, and I went to my first like business summit, I guess you could call it. It's called Susie School. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I went to her very second one, and it's kind of like a crazy process. You have to be accepted. You have to like, out of like hundreds of people, she might select you. This is Susie
Holman's thing? Yeah.
And so I went to that, and yes, I got great knowledge and like marketing skills from that. And Susie is a genius in everything that she does, but it was the connections that I made there that when I was ready to launch my product, all of those women were behind my back, and they're also in the influencer world, so they helped me kind of like infiltrate into that. So, and then I just started doing more and more of that. And then I, started a nonprofit called the Hustle Project, which is for entrepreneur women, and kind of the same thing,
Tell us about that. I don't even know about
this.
this.
It's on spring break right now. We're like resting.
Sure.
We did it nonstop for like 4 years. So, started it because I was like, I need my friends. They don't want to hear me talk about my business all the time. I'm learning that I'm weird. Okay. And so then I'm like,
most entrepreneurs are, by the way.
Right. Yeah. And they don't understand.
A breed apart.
Yeah. So I was like, what if I could get in a room full of like the same people like me, and we could just hash it out. And then also like my husband in that time frame with me too was also trying to like help me, and then see I was like struggling and like trying to fix it, and then I thought that was coming off as like not being supportive. He's literally just trying to save me, you know what I mean? It's like this weird dynamic, and so feeling like I can't take all of my problems to him either, so where do I go? Who do I talk to? So then that's kind of when we started this, and I started it with my sister-in-law in the beginning, and we didn't really know what it was going to be. We're like, we just want to party. We want to party with these women, and it'll be awesome.
I want to join. I feel like I can't, though.
It was awesome. So then we hosted our first event. We had like 122 people come. It was entirely sponsored. And then from this, I was like, whoa, okay, this is like legit. This is happening. All right. Okay, so then we like created a board, and basically what we did is we hosted events every single month, and we brought in educators. Again, because I'm like, I want to learn all the things. I want to know all the things. I want to know how to like market to my ideal client, read different personalities, branding, social media, right? Like all of those pain points in your business. And so that's what we did for 4 years, and we had memberships, and with that exclusive membership, then we would do like just dinners where they could come, and I called it bring your own business problems. And you got to come, and awesome. We all sat in a circle and was like, this is what I need help with. Like, help me with this. And then all of us just like, cool, I'm going to send you to this person, or like, no, this is how you should do, your grand opening or whatever. And it was magic.
This women only?
It was women only.
Yeah,
but we did have like lots of like our guest speakers and stuff were our men. So yeah.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah,
sounds great.
It was really good.
So on spring break right now.
Yeah, on spring break.
In plans for a return?
Yes, we have some big plans. We're just trying to make sure it's like the right timing for everything, and it takes a lot of work. Yeah. To do those, and so we're also finding like they're all like me too, like they're very busy. Right. So it got really hard when we're putting on all of these events, paying these speakers to come, and it wasn't working out with people's timelines. It was hurting my heart. Yeah. Where I was like, dang, this was a lot of work. You know what I mean?
12 people came.
Yeah. Which it's great too, because it's more substance when it's those smaller like intimate groups, but it just got to be a lot. So I was like, cool, we're gonna take a minute. And this is another thing that I'm kind of struggling with, is I literally named my business The Hustle Project, and I don't believe in hustle culture. Like, I think there's a very important thing to know, to stop, like to pause. It's okay to rest. And I feel like in social media too, you get stuck in this. I tease that I like created a prison for myself in it. And a lot of other women in their businesses, that's what I'm also finding them too. They're like, oh, I just got to keep going. I'm breaking down. I'm mentally exhausted. Like, my family is struggling, but like, I got to keep going. I got to keep showing up. And I don't believe in that anymore.
So what do you believe in?
I believe in listening, and like, it's okay to like rest and like take care of yourself and create boundaries with your own self. And like, your worth is not attached to your business and like your successes and stuff like that. So I'm feeling, and you guys are finding this out first, I'm feeling a rebrand for the Hustle Project. So that's why
very
it's kind of
exciting.
like settling for a minute. Yeah.
Anything that you're ready to share about the rebrand? Not there yet.
Not there yet, but it'll be awesome.
Of course it will.
It'll be awesome, and it'll
I
be a
have no
big
doubt.
party, and it'll be bigger and like better than ever.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and I'm also just looking for those right people to help take it. Like I can feel it. Like it's outgrown just me now. Like I need to delegate to that person that can give it like the full attention that it needs.
Yeah.
So if you're out there,
Yeah, whoever you
contact me.
Yeah, I'd love maybe a one-time exception for your big.
You are always
Event.
welcome. You are always welcome. It's mainly
Thank
just like the
you.
women dinners, like our big events. We have the spouses
I'll
come
eat
all
out
the
in the hall,
time.
that's
No,
fine.
you come.
I'll eat 'em
You
all.
come all the time. Like we had our big auction. So my husband's an auctioneer,
Oh, he is.
and so we did a big like benefit auction.
can you do the auctioneer speak
I
thing?
can do one of the tongue twisters.
Do it. Let's
hear it.
let's
Oh my
it.
gosh, you guys. Okay, hold on.
Gotta hydrate before
Oh
you
man,
get
I
into
hope
that.
I make him proud. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Betty bought her bought some butter, but she says my butter bitter. If I put it in my batter, she went with batter bitter. So she bought a bit of better butter, put it in her bit of batter. Does Betty better bought a bit of better butter?
Sold.
Dang.
That's great.
That's impressive.
I just learned that because he does that all of the time.
Does he just walk around the house doing that?
In the shop, so it echoes everywhere. In the very beginning, he used to make me like pretend to be different people, so like leg, hand, head, like all of that, so he could be like
Yeah, he
going.
could do
Anyways,
the bidding
yeah,
live, yeah.
He's
That's awesome.
he's really talented. He gets asked to do it like all like the Idaho Meth Project. They've
Mm-hmm.
had him come and like be the auctioneer and stuff. I wish he did more of it. He's just really busy. But
Yeah.
anyways, at that auction,
Yeah.
we did a Kentucky Derby
Oh, I
theme.
love
Our,
it.
our
Really cool.
parties always have
Big
a theme.
hats and
Oh, it was
everything,
so
yeah.
much fun. Tons of businesses sponsored it and came, and like we had all the guys come
Yeah.
to that one. So I'll make sure you get a personal invite. Okay.
Yes, it sounds so great.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
excited
a
about it.
lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
really excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our listeners, obviously you're on a pause right now,
Yeah.
but is there a place they can go
Yeah,
to
go
follow?
go
and-
follow us at the Hustle Project on Instagram.
Cool, awesome.
And then when we do announce stuff, like that's where
they'll be first
that's
to
where
know.
it'll be.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
Very
yeah,
cool.
It's fantastic. Okay, we took a little detour
we
here.
did. Yeah.
Actually, before we get back on track, I had one other question for you.
Yeah.
Because you brought up this really, really interesting topic, and you've talked about how you're a people collector and you look for different people, and then you brought up kind of the difference between your husband and yourself. You being more extroverted, your husband being more introverted, which is the same in my family. I'm the extrovert, my wife's the introvert. And one of the things that I've found professionally is that extroverts can be wildly effective at some things and wildly ineffective at other things. And introverts are, the inverse. They can be wildly effective on some things and wildly ineffective on others. How do you match those two kind of communication styles together to be effective? You have a lot of practice being married to an introvert as an extrovert.
Yeah. So I feel like we're both the extremes, right? So we both help like balance each other out. If he wasn't there to be like, hey, check yourself. Hey, you're not eating again because you're like getting too busy.
Right,
Like
yep.
make sure you feed yourself. Like that type of stuff.
I don't have that problem, but
yeah,
yeah.
I would be like, just go. I just want to talk to all. So like before our Hustle Project events, he would have to like make me eat because I'd just be so freaking excited like a kid that I was like, I'm not even hungry. I'm fine, And then I'm like sick the next day. I called it a hustle hangover because just all of it, you know what I mean? Like just go,
Yeah.
and then you just crash. And so I kind of feel like I'm the same for him. So we tease, are you guys familiar with the Enneagram
Yes.
personality
Yeah,
test?
a little bit, yeah.
What number are you? Do you know?
Oh, somebody told us one of our other guests told me what I was.
7?
2? No.
Maybe it was 7.
7. I
You
think
seem
it was
like a
7.
seven.
That might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. What's your number?
I've never taken it.
Okay, I'll send you the link so you can
Okay.
take it.
Okay.
But my husband is a 1,
Okay.
and so their personality, they're the perfectionists. They analyze everything. They like systems. They also don't understand why you're doing everything not right, right? And so he gets analysis paralysis, where me, I'm like, this feels good in my gut. I know, I'm like so excited. And then he's like, well, let's analyze it. right? And so then he'll kind of help me like strategically make like, oh, this like numbers, right? Like let's crunch these numbers and make sure that like looks good. And I'm like, why are you crushing my dream? Okay, why don't you believe in me?
I already feel it here. Yeah.
So then kind of like working that out and then being like, oh, actually, yeah, numbers are power. Like knowing that, then you can make educated business decisions, not just like a hope and a dream,
right? Yeah.
And like hope this works out. You know,
Yeah.
that it's really helped me learn that side of it, and then vice versa. He's told me that sometimes he's like, I just know I have to go for it. I just have to trust my gut and like just try it.
You got to take a chance.
Yeah.
Okay, so what number are you?
I'm a 3.
A 3. Okay, so what is a 3?
A
How
3,
do you define a 3?
A 3 is the achiever.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So we really we feel our success, or we feel our value is like in our success. So we have to really like work on that. But we're also really good like doers and dreamers and love to be with people and stuff like that. So
yeah. Okay. We're back to the timeline now.
Okay.
So then how do we get to where you're at now?
Okay, so from the boutique, I moved to a couple of different spots, and I had a lot of resistance to leaving that first spot. I was actually like in a closet that they converted for me, and I loved it. Like, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And my husband's like, Teasha, you're in a closet. Like, you can leave that. Like, that's fine. But I also was like, no, I'm so loyal. Like, I want to, like, keep supporting. And he's like, you still can, right? And so then making that, like, first move, because I also was starting to get employees. Because I also was like, I was also a competitive dance coach at the time. So I was doing my business 2 days a week for, like, 4 hours. And so I was like, okay, I don't want to give up more of my family time. And so I need to start hiring people on. And I felt like I couldn't really do that in the closet. So moving to like several different places and then learning more about like booth rent and working with people in like more of the beauty industry, which I feel like spray tans are like a hidden secret because it's like your back door into the beauty industry without having to pay 20 grand to go to beauty school.
Right. Yeah.
And it's really cool that we can like be a part of that world in a way, and they're so great. And actually, like the spray tan community, we all support each other and help each other. Where that's what I also wanted to bring with the nonprofit is like everyone's welcome. Like, I'm not gonna make it where only one hairstylist can come, one banker can come. Like, all of you come. We can all learn something for everyone. And I was feeling a little bit in like the women entrepreneur, we were all craving that, right? Like, we were all wanting that in our business, and then some newbie would come in and want to like alpha wolf, and we're like, oh, we don't do that here. We're actually like, you can sit with us. We are ready to go. So when I brought on my products, so I'm now in this, I think it was like a 10 by 13 room that I was renting at Elusive, and again, loved it there. I was like, I'm not leaving. Okay. But my boxes from all of my product, I was having a hard time fitting in the
10
room.
10 by 13 isn't huge. Yeah.
No. And I packed a lot of crap in there. Like, it's shocking when we moved out. But then I was like, and that was always my dream, was to have my own storefront. Like, my sign on the building, that was like my dream. And so we started looking, took forever. All the spots like weren't in the best location, or it just wasn't the right fit. And then when we found this one, and it was actually between me and a chiropractor, the landlord told me, and they picked me. And they probably could have got a lot more money out of that, you know what I mean? But like, they picked me, and I asked them if I could paint the ceiling pink, and they let me. Like, they did not have to do that. But I'm so grateful that I'm there in that spot, and that we're neighbors.
Yeah.
And the influx that I've seen from my clients and like just people walking in has grown so much. And that was a risk, because I'm like, I don't know. I've never done that before. And so that was a big risk to take. But it's been well worth it.
Yeah.
At East Idaho Credit Union, we're a full-service business lending center. We can help with all of your needs, from a small startup all the way to a large enterprise and everything in between. Our commercial loan officers will work with you to understand your business and to help get you to the next level. Come check us out at eastidahocu.org/business.
I wanted to ask you about, you move into this new spot, and I'm sure there's all kinds of anxiety about moving to new. Anytime there's something like big and new,
big
it's
change,
scary, right? So what kinds of things did you do to ensure that that was going to work, other than paint the ceiling?
Paint the ceiling pink. I knew that I wanted to create a lot of hype around it. I feel like, especially for like my customers, my clients, all of that, they love the hype, and like I've shared with them from the very beginning, like all of it. During one of my big sales, I got default pumps on my mousses, and so they were leaking all over the place and shipping, like thousands of dollars, right, like down the drain. And so I was like devastated. I'm not sure what to do. Like, these people also trusted me with this product. And I had a friend that was like, hey, I need some mousse. And I'm like, Ashley, I can't give you it. It's leaking. Like, I'm trying to fix it. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care that it's leaking. I just need it. And I was like, do people not care? What? And so this idea was born, and I called it my leaky bottle sale.
I love it.
And gave them like a discount and sold out.
That's crazy.
And then my manufacturer that was like trying to help me, she was like, oh, I'm like sending you new. I'm like, they're gone.
Yeah, I sold them.
Like, I sold them. And so that was also, I found like my people rallied like behind me in that. And that was so cool. And so when I was getting ready to move into this space, I was like, again, my people love hype. So I'm like, I want to throw a party. I want to do a big grand opening, and I want to invite other people to be involved, and I want to support other people's businesses in it. And so, I mean, that was one thing that we did. And then also getting connected with some other people that would like work with my clients too. So like my friend Courtney, she does her permanent jewelry there. And so she was a part of it, and we did an influencer night. So actually before our grand opening, we had local influencers come, and these were already my friends because I'd gone to these events, right? Like, I'd already made those connections. And so invited them, and I did it in a Kardashian way.
Okay.
I wanted it to be so stupid cute that they're like, I cannot not share this. So we got chocolate hearts that they had to break open, and it had their invite in it. And like, they got to come to this night, and they got tans, and they got to come get jewelry. Like, it was just really fun. So again, like, creating this vibe and including the other people is what really helped, you know, for the grand opening. And then it's just like continued. Yeah.
I actually remember you doing that.
Oh, you do?
And
Bailey's followed you for a long time,
my
actually.
gosh.
Yeah.
And I follow all these local influencers, and created so much hype. I was like, all the cool kids are doing it. I want to be a part of this. And so
FOMO.
you definitely
Creating the FOMO.
You definitely did that. It was amazing.
Because I get that. That's another thing that I do. If something works on me, I'm going to try to like duplicate that. Do I pay extra money just to use pink gloves in my salon? Yes, I do. Because marketing works on me. So then I know if I come out with like another exfoliating mitt, if I make it a fun color, that might work for someone else. Like, yeah.
I think people really appreciate detail, right?
Yeah,
Like little details. They don't mean a lot, but they really mean a lot too.
It's exactly like all of it. Like, for example, like all of the detail that you guys have like put into this, it gives it a whole different. If we were just like in your basement,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. This is funny. This is something that happened yesterday, actually. We're opening this new space, and we got this staff that was going into this space a coffee machine, which is fine. But it's like one you would see at like a truck stop or something, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And it's like, guys, let's get them a nice espresso machine, right? We don't have to make them feel like they're just going to a truck stop to get coffee, right? and it's a little thing, and it costs like a tiny bit more, but it makes such a huge difference. It's just little things like that really, really matter. Pink gloves, they matter.
Yeah, like every one of our clients, they get one of my chapsticks, and those are my business cards. And I do that strategically, so it doesn't just get like folded and like lost in their
Throw it in
purse.
the trash
They
or whatever,
think about me every time they put that on, and it's fun.
Well, think about it. Every time you order something like online and it shows up and they put a keychain in there along with or a sticker or something like that, it's like basically worthless, but you feel so good about it. You're so happy about it.
Yeah, it is so true.
Those experiences matter. I love it. It's incredible. So what's next for you and your business?
Okay,
where are you guys
so
going?
now I've been noticing I hardly spray now. Like my awesome employees, they do that, and the way that I train them is that you spray like Teasha. Like everyone should spray the exact same. So when you come in, you're getting the exact same experience.
Is there T-shirts spray like Teasha?
No, that's a really good
Yeah,
idea.
I'd like to see some of those.
That's really good. I mean, their shirt says Sun Gun Girl on it, but and they have to wear pink tennis shoes.
I love it.
But now I'm noticing I keep getting pushed into this role of people wanting like to be trained by me and my mentoring and stuff like that. And so I was resistant to that for a long little bit.
Did you feel like you'd be giving away like your secret or anything?
No,
or?
actually, no. I felt like, who am I? How I don't know what I'm doing. Why do you want? I'm still just figuring it out, right? I'm just going with my gut. As my husband's over there, like, let's put it in a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So, but then I really, especially with being in this role with the Hustle Project, just kind of facing it till I made it, right? And then always being put in kind of like this role, and then it kept happening, and I kept trying to like push it off to other people, and it just kept coming back that I was like, fine, okay, all right. And then I embraced it, and I started doing more spray tan trainings, and that's where I found I actually love it. Like I love the education side of it because I put so much of my own like twist on everything, because no one likes to feel new at anything. No one likes to be a beginner, and no one wants to look like an idiot in front of someone. Yeah. And so I worked like extra hard to eliminate problems before they even started. So when I was first spray tanning people too, when I was mobile, I would spray them with a headlamp and a paint roller to like blend ankles and stuff like that. Yeah, so wrap that around your mind.
I will say, if I showed up to get a tan and you came out with a paint roller, I'd be like, maybe I picked the wrong place.
Actually, I don't feel well. Can you leave? Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so I feel like I had to go through all of that, and I was like, I don't want anyone else to have to go through that. And I felt like because I had to take so many different spray tan courses, not one had everything. And then it's not just like your technique, it's the whole bedside manner of it. It's like, how do you take, because several years ago, spray tans used to be like $25. I'm the most expensive one here. People pay me $70 to almost $100 for a spray tan. So I really had to like bring that value to it. And in the beginning, because I had grown so much in such a short amount of time, when people would ask me, oh, how long have you had your business? I would literally cringe because I didn't want to tell them that answer. I didn't want to tell them like,
what did you say?
I would be like, oh my gosh, for a while.
A while here. I don't know.
It feels like forever. And it had been like not even a year yet or something, but I felt like it made me seem like I wasn't.
It's the mind of a marketer right there,
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Like, oh, a little while. Feels like forever. It's so funny.
So true. But I didn't want them to see me as not an expert in my field. And so I then dove into it even deeper because I hated that feeling. So I was like, I literally want to be an expert. So I did all of the things and learned all of the things. And so then I think that that's what attributed to me like standing out, is because I worked so hard at that. So then in my course, that's what I packed in, is like, not only are you learning like techniques and all solutions and like people's skin and blah, 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 but like also, how do you talk to people? How do you make them feel comfortable? How do you help troubleshoot? How do you help spray someone that maybe is a little bit more curvier their skin is going to be a little bit different, or how do you help someone that has like some different like skin conditions where they literally don't have like pigment in their skin or something like. And so
what kind of paint roller to use?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We eliminated the paint roller, so I'm happy to announce that. And then one of my biggest fears was like, what equipment do I buy?
Yeah.
What solution do I, like there's so many out there, and I don't want to I only have this amount of money. I don't want to make a wrong decision. And so in mine, I was like, I want to eliminate all of the stressful stuff that I can, and I want to just let you have the most fun you can with it, because starting your business is so fun.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is exciting, and I don't want the stress of it to like wash out the fun, like that fun, because you never get it back. It's like your wedding day,
right?
Yeah. If you're like stressed about it the whole time, and so now I feel like that's maybe my favorite part is I get to help them. It's like I'm getting a taste of that again.
Yeah.
Through them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like it's all packaged into one. I literally send them their equipment. I call it a business in a box. I send you everything to your doorstep. And so that's what I found has been really fun, is figuring out what to package into that. And
So I could be anywhere in the world really and participate in this, right?
Yeah.
So how could I participate in your school? Like how could I learn how to do this?
Yeah, so a lot of people they'll come to me. I've had people that have come from Texas, Georgia, I was going to say Alaska. That's not. She didn't come from Alaska. It was Alabama.
She went on a cruise to Alaska.
Yeah, one of those 8 states. Anyways, but they can come and I literally like shut down the salon and you get one-on-one, like hands-on with me. Yeah, like live models. Like I spray aside, I hand it to you, you spray aside.
Wow.
So it's literally like hands-on. Like my whole goal is when you leave, you're like, I'm charging $45 for my tan. I'm confident in that. I can fold my tent. What I can tell you your skin tone right now, like it's packed in there. And then there's also like the online version, which is like everything that I do, like for like we go through it the exact same way, just the online version, and then I just send them their box.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, it's some fun.
Okay, so is that the side of your business you really want to grow? Is that what you're
Yeah, I'm finding that's more where I'm being pulled. So I just started several months ago. It was a new idea, and because I was doing what I called trade secret calls, where people could book a call with me, and I would literally tell you any secrets if you wanted to know, but, or about like in my industry, about any of it, and those were doing like really well. But I hated having to mark off an hour of my time. Especially around like kids' schedules and stuff. It felt a little like draining of my energy. And I love Marco Polo.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easy. It's in the moment. And my word for this year was effortless. I want my business to feel effortless. Because last year it felt like a prison. So I was doing some work. Yeah. And so I was like, what if I did Marco mentoring? Where people could do the exact same thing, but it's in the moment.
Yeah.
It's literally like when you have that question or you need it, like you get on and you talk to me, and it's like the back and forth. And so I launched it a couple months ago, and it was a test, and it did awesome.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, cool. Well, okay, awesome. We'll run with that. So now I've been diving more into like the coaching and mentoring side. And I'm actually going to California in October to speak at an event. They wanted me to come, and I'm talking about Enneagrams and like personality and stuff.
That's so
because
great.
I love it. And the first time I heard about it was when I went to Susie's school.
Oh, okay.
And it was so fascinating to me, and just how you use it in your business and everything. And so now I'm diving like more into that. Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. I have so many questions for you. This is
Okay,
so
go.
interesting.
Let's
on
go.
this stuff. Okay. So I have to ask this because this is the one that I've wanted to ask before you ever showed up.
Okay, great.
You got to have some stories. You got to have some like funny stories about tans that you've done.
Oh, gosh.
People that have come in.
Okay.
What are some of your favorite stories?
I mean, the only one that really like comes to mind, which was actually kind of like traumatic for my employee, and we had to come up with like a lot of boundaries and rules for that afterwards. But she had a male client come in.
Okay.
We require them to wear bottoms. Okay, that's just it's what we do, right?
Okay.
And he did not want to. And she was like, well, you gotta. And he was like, I'll just wear a sock.
Oh,
Oh, no.
And I was like, so she tells me after this, and I'm like, you told him to leave, right? And she's like, no.
Oh, no.
So she sprayed, and his girlfriend was there, so she felt like okay with it. She's like, I just wanted him gone.
Oh,
And
my
so
gosh.
she sprayed him, and after that, I was like, you tell them to leave next time.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the only one that really like comes to mind.
That's
Oh,
something
I
there.
do have
Okay,
one.
okay.
Okay. So a client came in, and I don't really spray anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but unless like friends and family want to, then they can like reach out and like I'll make my schedule work for them. So she had reached out. She was getting ready to have her baby like that weekend. And I was like, cool, come in. We'll get you sprayed. Sprayed her. 30 minutes later, she messages me and is like, my water broke. What do I do?
Oh, my
And I'm
goodness.
like, oh, you hop in the shower. She's like, is there any way to save my tan? I'm like, no, you go to the hospital. She's like, did I wear it long enough to even like let it do its thing? And I was like, maybe.
Maybe, but maybe you should really go to the
Yeah.
hospital.
I love that that's her concern.
Rinse off real quick and then head on in. Yeah, but that one was funny.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
so funny. Okay, so you do a lot of mentoring kind of stuff in your career, sort of evolved into that.
Yeah.
What kind of advice would you give to a more generalized crowd, right? Like of just young entrepreneurs, business owners. What kinds of things would you tell them as they're just starting a new business? You got to do these things.
Okay. I love this question, and I feel like get out of your own way. You're gonna I wish I would have known this in the beginning, like how much your mindset affects all of it. So you can have all these great strategies, all these great marketing plans, but if your mindset is garbage, like you ain't gonna you're not gonna do anything, right? Like it's gonna keep stopping you. Your ego is gonna be like, you're trash. Like, who are you? You can't do this. Like that's literally the things that go on in your mind.
Yeah.
And so putting in the work in the beginning of like protecting that mindset and because I didn't do that until later on, right? Like when I was going to these events and be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I can choose not to think that I'm garbage. That's amazing. Right? And so, and like affirmations and then, but also, I mean, I built my business solely on social media and a lot of people don't like social media. And so in my mentoring and stuff, a lot of it is me trying to help them like get out of this feel of feeling like they're vain or like into themselves. Because that's how we're raised. Like you don't want to be, right? You want to be
Humble. and- yeah.
and there's a difference between being humble and being cocky and being right. And so being able to show more of yourself on social media, which I did in the very beginning, because I wanted people to feel like they were my friend. And it felt better. Like I wanted to show all different sides of me. So then when they came in, when they're your friend, like you want to support your friends. You're going to support the crap out of
That's
your friends,
right.
right?
Yep.
And so in the beginning, if they can just get into just sharing their life, like I love to share all the time, like weird things about myself. Like I hate spoons. I hate eating with spoons. It's weird. I don't understand it. Working on it in therapy. I don't know. And like,
What do you like eating with?
Forks?
A fork?
That's
Yeah.
like the one other option.
Chopsticks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chopsticks you're fine with.
No, chopsticks are weird. I can't figure
Don't like
them
those
out.
either.
No.
Okay, what's wrong with the spoon?
I don't know. So I can't figure it out. I don't know if it's like hitting my teeth or if it's like, but I don't know. Like
So
soup, I
what-
will use a fork.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Ice cream, a fork.
How do you get the liquid? Do you drink it?
You just don't eat it.
I don't know.
You just go fast enough that it flips into your mouth like that?
I don't know.
What?
But cereal, I'll use a spoon. And if it's a plastic
Interesting.
spoon, I'm fine.
It's a metal spoon.
Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I don't know what happened in my childhood. But
I
just
feel
okay
like we
with
could maybe let's cancel the rest of the podcast and just talk about this. I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in
Okay,
here.
Zach, what do you
what
got?
if someone handed you some tomato soup and you had a fork. How does that process work
so
for you?
I would do it, but I think I use the spoon weird. I don't think I put like my full.
Is there a spoon over
lips
here
on.
by chance?
I know. I don't know. I don't know.
I wanted
you
a
guys.
demonstration of how you might use it.
I know. Like if I eat tomato soup, I dip my sandwich in it. So I'm
And
actually
that's how
not
you're
even
consuming
using.
the tomato soup.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
Huh.
You guys, I feel
All
like I
right,
opened
let's,
a can of
let's-
worms here. I'm
Let's
sorry.
scratch all these out. Any more spoon questions here? I'm just kidding.
But the point of
Sorry,
the
go
whole
ahead.
spoon
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah,
right,
keep
is
going.
like you never know what's going to be relatable to someone.
Yeah.
So when I started sharing, this was like a crazy. So my son Brooks at the time, I think he was like 4 or 5, and it was his birthday, and I was like, I feel like I should share on Instagram about his eating issues. So he has an eating aversion, is what it's called. It's basically an eating disorder for kids, and he developed it when he was younger because he had acid reflux, and so he eats food, it hurts. I don't want to eat food, and so he had to go into like eating therapy. It was crazy.
Wow.
And so I had this weird thought that like I should share this, and I talked about it and talked about how we put him in school early so he could be around his peers and see that like they had food on their plates and they were okay, and it might lead him more into like positive peer pressure to like get him to try new stuff, and it did, and it was awesome. It was an experiment and it went well. Could have went one of two ways, right?
Yeah.
And so I was on there and I was like sharing, and afterwards I was like, "God, that was so stupid. Why did I do that?" And I went to delete it. And right before I went to delete it, a mom had messaged me and was like, "I think my daughter has this. What did you do? Like, tell me more about this." And so then I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're going to want to like talk to your pediatrician. You're going to want to do this." Like, and she just felt so seen in that moment. And she was able to like go in and like get help. That moment I was like, this is why you need to like share certain things, because you never know who it's going to help and who it's going to like relate to. Yeah. Same thing when I share my husband in hunting season and all of his, you guys, okay. And it's funny how many people, those are my best ones.
Right.
Is
yeah.
when he is talking about and trying to sell me on this new thing that he needs to get. So then he can come back because he killed all the stuff. So then he can come back home to me sooner. And then it's so funny. The wives that will get on and message me and be like, "My husband is dying right now listening to your." So it's like the husband's listening through the wife on their Instagram. And so then again, then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel you. My husband got those same binoculars and he didn't come home any sooner either."
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
so it's just so funny. Like, if you can get on there and just share everything, like everything is content. And if you can do it in a way of like saving memories, not so much thinking like what's content, what's not, just like I want to document all the memories, it makes it a little bit flow a little bit easier. And then as you're like working that creative muscle, you know what connects well with your followers to like gain those like genuine connections, which is what Instagram is about. That's why I love it.
Right. Yeah. You know, I can't remember if I heard somebody say this or if I read it, but they said, if you're creating content, if you have to create content, then you're doing it wrong. You should just be the content. Otherwise,
love
you get burned out. Otherwise, like you can't just.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Yeah. Otherwise, that becomes your whole job. Is just creating content. You know, and I love how you highlighted this thing that there's so much ugliness in the world generally, and so much ugliness on the internet. What you just described is the case study for why social media is beautiful, right? Being able to connect to a mother who's going through a similar thing. I saw one of the videos you had where you were teaching somebody how to give a haircut to a child with autism. And I was like, that's amazing, right? Because somebody needs to know that. Yeah. And I didn't look at the comments that were on that, but
and again, it has nothing to do with my business.
Right.
Like my business page has literally morphed in to all of it. And the ones, guess which ones hit the best?
Yeah.
Is when it's about my family. It's
Right.
about me throwing a murder mystery party for my sisters. Like my husband hunting. It's annoying. No, it's Like, I just worked so hard on this reel about my moose, and then I post about your stupid elk call, and it gets better.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny like that. Yeah.
It is.
I've done videos where I'm like, for sure this is going to kill.
It's never
And it
those
just
ones.
bombs.
Yeah.
And then something that feels like so benign and boring
Doesn't it just hurt
takes
your
off. And you're
heart?
like, this is
Yeah.
just irritating.
Yeah. Can't get attached to anything.
No. Yeah.
Drives me crazy. Okay. What other pieces of advice do you have for like the young entrepreneur just starting?
Start collaborating with people, like infiltrating yourself into that.
Infiltrating. I like that
Yeah.
word there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's literally what it is. There's like this bubble of it. And
Yeah.
like, if you can get into it, which is like going to events, right? Like, it's who you know in there, then I feel like it just helps you get in front of the people that you need, and they need you.
Yeah. Yeah. Very few businesses operate like in a vacuum, right? There's a whole community around those people, which is part of what makes them successful. You know, one of the problems that maybe an introvert entrepreneur might have, which makes them fantastic entrepreneurs, by the way, is going to the event, right? Is interacting with the people, is building the network and infiltrating into the community, right? And so one of the tricks that I've seen used that I think works really, really well is you probably know an extrovert, bring them.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Right? Bring them along.
That's a really great point. I mean, at a lot of our events, like, we had a lot of people that would be like, oh, I don't like groups.
Yeah.
I just don't want, I'm like, you can come sit next to me.
Yeah.
Like, right? So I think that's a great point that you brought up. Like, and I feel like that's, you can also, it doesn't have to be maybe fully like live. Like, you can do the exact same thing in people's DMs.
Right. That's right.
You know, sending them a voice memo will really, you introverts are going to be a little like, oh, when I say that, but it does, it like hits a little bit differently. It's a little bit more personable in them, but yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's very true.
Yeah, when my wife and I go to a party or something, she doesn't want to go. She never wants to go to stuff like that. And usually how it goes is I'll talk to people and she just sits there and like eats cheese or whatever. And it's perfect for her. And we go home and she's like, that was a great party. I had a great time. It was so. If you're an introvert, bring an extroverted friend or partner or whatever that can help shield you, but you can still participate and be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to ask this too, because I think you've got some really interesting experiences around this. We've talked about advice you would give to the new entrepreneur just starting out. What about the person who's been in it for a few years and they're like, ugh, it's just not picking up steam the way I want it to? What would you tell them? What kind of advice would you give that person?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Check your mindset. Like, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on like scarcity, or are you focusing like on abundance? Because that's a totally different feeling in your body. And what are you doing activities that are like bringing you energy, or are they stealing energy from you? And a lot of times what I'm finding, because with my mentoring, like that is what it is. It's a great mix of like newbies and veteran people.
Right.
One of the girls I met, she's been in the industry she's been in my industry for like 10 years. I've been in it 5. And so we've been really kind of working on with her of like, where are we focusing at? Like, what actually brings you joy in your business? And like, how do we share? And we noticed that she stopped sharing her on her page. Like, it just is like pictures of her services and like everything, and that's great. But I'm like, I think
But
that's
people
what
don't
we're
care.
missing. No, they're gonna go to Denise down the road if she's sharing about her. Right? I don't know. And maybe that's just the secret sauce that worked well for me, but that's what I enjoy looking at.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm going to compare between going to like one other person, I want to go to my friend.
Totally.
So that's what I would say is like checking your mindset.
So what kind of, I think you're right, what kind of tools would you say, hey, your mind's not in the right place, right? You're in a bad headspace. Here's what you should do to get back where you need to be.
Yeah. Okay. So my first step, because it's not like you can just be like, your mind is trash, right? Like people, they're.
That's what I do.
Right?
There's something wrong up there.
Yeah.
We gotta fix it.
Yeah. So I feel like it's kind of like slowly kind of easing them into that. And I'm going to be like, what's your personality type? Like, let's take this Enneagram test. I want to learn a little bit more about you. You know, if they're a 9, that's going to mean like they are scared to make decisions in fear of that someone else, they're going to hurt someone else. So then that kind of tells me a little bit more how to help like structure them around it and stuff. And then next chipping away is I'm going to want to know, like, I make all of them read I'm a Badass at Making Money. It's a great book, and it has a lot about mindset, but almost in like a camouflaged way where you're like, ooh, I'm learning skills, right? But and I love audio books. That's just the type of learner that I am. And so I tell them, like, listen to this, like go to the gym, go to somewhere and just listen to it, because for me that's my secret weapon of when I come up with the best ideas. It's not even like what she's really talking about, but it helps get my mind thinking differently.
Right.
And so having them read that, and then like checking what they're doing with like their morning routine. A lot of it is just being stuck in like patterns and kind of disrupting that pattern, and like helping them just kind of, again, like thinking differently, listening to like self-help books, and doing that work just kind of helps like jumpstart you back.
East Idaho Credit Union offers business accounts that will fit your needs. We have dividend earning checking accounts and high yield savings accounts, like our brand new Velocity Money Market that earns up to 2%. Check us out at eastidahocu.org/business. So I want to ask, what's your morning routine like then?
Okay, so I'm in the middle of shaking it up right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
You said something that I think is so powerful. Disrupt the pattern.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're in a funk, you gotta disrupt it, right? You just have to do things different.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay.
So coming off of summer, like summer's weird. Like give yourself summer, okay? But I'm not the type of person to be like, I'm gonna wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, read my scriptures. Like, no. So I wake up when my kids come into my room for school. And then and I'm setting a new rule that I don't look at my phone for an hour. Because learning more about my personality, that was one of the things that was suggested to me in this new book that I'm reading for this, because I'm studying up when I go to this retreat to speak. And it was saying that like you'll immediately go into achieving mode and like work, and like your anxiety will start to come up. So just leave your phone off for the first hour of your day. And so I've been doing that. And that already just helps me kind of like focus. And basically I go and I do all my kid things, and then I come back, and like that's when I check my emails and I check my inbox and like stuff like that. And working a lot on, so I'm in this program right now, this coaching program, and she's having us do, like, we write our gratitude list.
I think that's so powerful.
Yeah. It really, I realize like, oh yeah, like I'm grateful for this, but actually like digging down deeper, just certain things that like happen throughout the day. Like, oh, I was able, Remy sent me a message on her watch today at school that she's having the best day and she hopes I'm having the best day. Just like little things like that. Mainly I want to remember. So for me, it's more of a remember list, but it is like a gratitude list. But for some reason, that just kind of like hits differently. Is like my remember list. And then I'm trying to also, I have like a new thing that I do on my phone, and I pull up, it's like my to-do list. And so keeping track of these, I have a constant fear that I'm going to be forgetting something. And so this is my like.
Yeah. For those of you who can't see your phone, it's like her homepage. And it's just a widget with like all of her to-do list.
Yeah. And I've used like
Mine
other.
has like the weather and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably better.
And I've used other programs before, and for some reason, a friend randomly a long time ago like mentioned this one to me that it worked well for her. And so I tried that, and it does good. It's not like this huge ongoing, right? It's like today. Let's focus on our stuff today. And then I have those other lists that are just like all of the stuff in your brain.
Right.
But so my morning routine is ever evolving, but I'm making those little changes, implementing those, because I feel like sometimes if you try to do all of it, it once, at least for me, it makes me feel like I'm suffocating and I'm going to fail at it. Right? Yeah. So I'm trying to just do those little things that feel good, that fit into my life.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So you have children.
Yeah.
How do you balance home life, work life, all your other obligations? How do you do that?
So I don't.
Okay.
I don't believe in balance.
Okay, great. Let's talk about it.
I don't think that I think it's just like naturally there's things that are non-negotiables for you. Mm-hmm. Like for me, I want to take Remy to dance. Mm-hmm. I was a dance teacher. That brings me joy. It brings her so much joy. Like I could have the nanny take her, but like that's something I want to do. Mm-hmm. And so I schedule my time around that. Mm-hmm. I have my nanny like pick up my kids Monday and Tuesdays, and then I get to take her on Wednesdays or Thursdays, whenever her schedule is. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, to heck with balance.
Yeah. So basically, and that was like a thing that I wanted to really study in the beginning. Is like, how do I do this? How do I do this right? How do I be mom? How do I be a wife? How do I run my businesses? And I learned that just by labeling it of like I don't think that that's actually, it's all just seasons.
Yes.
Right? Like when my kids were younger and I was doing my schedule and my flexibility was a little bit different. And then as they grew up and now they're both in school, now I can be here and do this type of stuff. So I feel like it's just ever changing and evolving and just knowing that like everything's just a season.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's
Totally.
I've always said that when people talk about like balance in their life, they make the mistake of condensing that into a one-day time period.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is impossible. What you're looking for is a balanced life.
Yeah.
Not a balanced day or week even.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like anything that you're going to do that's extraordinary requires extraordinary effort. Right? Like when you went to college, your life was wildly unbalanced, slanted towards school, right? Yeah. When you first have a child, your life is wildly unbalanced towards that child. And that's okay, right? That's all right, because you're looking for the balanced life in its totality, not just every day's got to have X amount % in each bucket, because that's just unreasonable.
It's true. And piggybacking off of that, what you're saying is like, right, like different things are going to need to pull your focus during these different seasons of life, and removing that guilt. If you're like, my kids are sick today, they need me, I wasn't able to post my reel or promote whatever, like it's your business.
Right.
If you're late to it's your party, right? It doesn't matter if you're late to it, it'll still be there. And I feel like sometimes in the hustle of it, you feel like if you don't keep going, someone else is going to pass you. And that's just not true. That's just like a limiting belief type thing, right? Like it's yours. It'll still be there. I don't believe in this, and I used to, of like losing that momentum or like, oh, we got to keep going, we got to whatever. But yeah, so I like that. And another thing, and I don't know if this is like woohoo and going into the whole spoon situation again, but I've also been diving into this a little bit more, and I just learned this not that long ago, but us women around our cycles like affect us in our business. And not many people know that.
You heard it first here.
Yeah. Again, like and I'm still researching it, and I'm still trying to dive into it more, but it's so true. Like I can literally track when I'm like, yes, let's go, I'm gonna do this, and then all of a sudden I'm like, set it all on fire. Yeah. I'm done. Right? And then us women are feeling like, what's wrong with me? Like I'm seeing, Becky over here and she's doing it, and why am I not? And you can literally track it in your cycle and stuff. And there's like books about it that women will actually like schedule things in their business and like launches that they have going on around their cycle.
Dang.
Thoughts on that?
I don't even.
Have you ever thought about it?
I don't think I have anything to say about that. Yeah.
I don't think I've really thought about it, but now that you say, I'm like, light bulb.
Yeah. No? So now start just kind of thinking about it. So they say that like your cycle has like seasons. So you have your fall, winter, spring,
Should I
summer.
come back?
Yeah, no, you're great. This is good for you. Okay. So like in your spring, summer, that's when you're like coming out of like being on your cycle, right? And like that's when you're gonna have your your biggest ideas, your most motivation, like all of your ideas are coming. And then as you start to like fall into that, that's when you're going to start to notice like you're going to be less motivated. And just the knowledge behind that, you can be like, oh, I'm not like failing. I just need a minute. Like I just need to wait until my like spring, summer is coming back. But I'm also trying to figure out like, okay, but we still have to do things. Like, yes, you can like, oh man, this sucks. So I'm trying to like dive a little bit deeper into that to figure out, well, what can we do to help us like get through those times a little bit better. But yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's woohoo, but you'll have to start to notice.
Interesting, yeah.
No, I think that's great. I think it's probably not talked about enough, and so I think that's really important. You know, we probably don't have much of a male following after this last minute, but you know,
it's gonna attract the people that need it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But also, I think because there's like a lot of shame in, like with women too. I think that's why it's not talked about, because no one. I think it's good for people that are like, oh, I also feel that way too. Oh, it's normal. Oh, cool. Okay. Like I shared about this not that long ago on my Instagram. And I was like, look at what I've found. And like the response was insane. Again. So I'm like, I don't know. This is new for me too. I'm just here. I just work here. But yeah.
Fascinating. It's good to know.
Yeah. You know?
Hey, it could help you with your wife, or you know, it could be in,
that's a reasonable
not feeling
thing.
motivated. Be like, what season are you in?
Yeah.
You're out of season right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I wanted to ask you this. A lot of the times, you know, an entrepreneur, they've been into it for a couple years, and you hear the term burnout. I'm burnt out. First of all, have you ever felt a little burnout before on your business? And how do you work through it?
Okay, so that was like last year, right?
Okay.
When I was like mentally not okay. I actually had like a couple panic attacks. It was like really scary. And so I did a lot of like stepping back, right? Like that's when I was like, okay, we're going to finish out like these hustle project events, and then like I have to like chill for a minute. And then finding like a lot of the women around me too were feeling the exact same way. And I don't know if it was mainly just like everything compounding from like COVID, where a lot of people were like chilling and resting because they couldn't, that I feel like a lot of us other entrepreneurs were like, no, it's go time. Like we're ready for war, right? And then it never really stopped. So I don't know if it was like a thing of that, but I basically just had like my body made me. And I wish I would have listened sooner. And so, you know, going into like therapy and then really doing a lot of like time for myself, like self-care type stuff. I love going and getting massages, and so I like make it a point to like schedule that now, making sure I'm eating, I'm not getting too busy with things. But the burnout, like it's a real thing. And again, it comes back to that like hustle culture.
Right. Yeah.
If you're not the one that's running the fastest, like someone else is going to outrun you. And I just like I don't believe in it, and so I don't really know how else to like give other people advice on it, or just mainly like my story. And if like you're feeling that same way too, like knowing it's okay, and like we all go through it, even if you're not seeing it, like people are doing it, and like your feelings are valid. Like it's okay to rest.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss out on anything.
Yeah. I think it's great advice. It's great advice. It's a difficult, everybody experiences it, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're just, you know, in your career or whatever, especially when your days all feel like they're the same and they run together, and you're just not like filling the cup. You're just you're not taking care of yourself the right way. So
and I've seen so many of like my friends in the like my business bubble, right? Like literally shutting down their businesses. And that was super scary, because I thought like looking at them from this other outside, like inside, because they're a friend, seeing them close, that was so scary because I'm like, am I next? Am I going to be that next person? Like, I have to be taking care of myself. And not that it was bad that happened to them or whatever. It's just, it wakes you up.
Yeah.
And it scared me enough to be like, okay, what do I love? Like, what does bring me joy in my business? Because for a couple years it didn't, because I wasn't allowing it to. I was allowing those other things to come in and the stress of it all, and it wasn't fun anymore. So that's delegating the things that don't bring me joy and focusing on the stuff that does really helped.
Yeah. On that note, I think we should try a donut.
Okay.
What do you think?
Sure.
Is it time?
Sure.
I'm going to rank this too.
You were really excited about that.
I know. Then we got to talking, and I've been eyeing this thing ever since.
And
Here we go.
ASMR. Thank you for being here. These are pretty good.
That's delightful. It's really weird.
It's really weird.
It feels wrong, but I'm enjoying it. Maybe that's why I'm enjoying it.
Maybe.
What's your like classic go-to donut?
You know what? I am as basic as it gets. I like a
Glazed.
just regular glazed, like hot, like it's totally fresh. That's where I'm at. I'm totally happy right there.
Yeah.
But I never really met a donut I didn't like either. You know, I kind of dig all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What do you like?
Well, I'm still waiting for someone to open up a Krispy Kreme franchise here.
Yeah.
But I love the blueberry type ones, but then just the chocolate glazed ones from Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
I'll drive clear to Utah just for those.
They're delicious.
Yeah, with the sprinkles. I do like the sprinkles.
We were down there this weekend, and we're just driving with my family, and I saw the sign on like fresh now, hot now, and I was like, kids are screaming. Right. Yeah, when that sign's on, you just have to stop.
Yeah.
It'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got some fun questions too.
Okay, cool.
Totally.
You want to ask some fun questions?
Sure. I ask the same questions every single time.
If they're your favorite, great.
All right. So if you win the lottery tomorrow, $10 million, what are you doing?
I'm going to buy more investment properties.
Ugh.
I know. And I thought about this, and I talked about it with my husband several times, but like they're so fun because what we do is we do themes with them. So we have a cabin in Island Park, and we have a retro theme. Like
That's
I have
fun.
cheetah carpet.
That's awesome.
Going up the stairs and like a pink phone. So I would do like some fancy stuff with those.
See, that's awesome.
That's pretty good. That's better than. So the reason I groan is because people are like, oh, I would definitely put a bunch into retirement, and I would put some money in the stock market. I'm like, you're so boring.
Because you're talking to business people.
I know, it's so boring
True.
though.
I know.
Right? So usually...
I mean, of course we're going to buy some Louis Vuittons and like
Thank you.
do some other
yes,
fun vacations.
good.
But first, we got to stockpile our future.
I want to know about like the weird eccentric thing.
Oh,
that you
okay.
want.
Okay, so have you ever seen Below Deck? It's a reality show. And they're on a super yacht, and it's like a crew, and they take care of like fancy guests
Okay.
on this super yacht. I would want to do that.
You would want to be on the crew?
No. I mean, that would also be fun because it's so fascinating,
Yeah.
but I would want to be a guest.
A guest on the yacht.
Yeah. On
So
the
you
yacht.
would charter the yacht for a month?
Maybe like a week.
A week?
Yeah.
A month feels too long to be on the yacht.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Maybe a week. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I see. I can dig that. Okay, this is one I ask everybody.
Okay.
And almost everybody gets it wrong.
Awesome.
So we'll see
Excited
if you
about
get this
this.
right or
Okay.
wrong. Okay, all expense paid trip to either Europe or the moon. What do you choose?
Europe. I don't want to go to the moon. That does not sound fun to me.
All right.
Is that what everyone says?
Yes,
Is Europe?
yeah, and you're all wrong. You're crazy. You're insane, all of you. All right.
I need to get some more men on the podcast because I think men are going to generally be more.
Did we ask this to Travis when he was on?
I don't know
think
that we
asked
did.
Travis. So what I've generally found is men typically say the moon, and women typically say Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't want to wear a diaper. That's what you're going to have to do when you go to the moon. I don't know if you've thought about these things.
I haven't thought about the diaper situation on the moon. But yeah, that's a reasonable... Do they wear diapers? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah. I mean, they used to. I mean, maybe it's evolved since...
Into
fancy
what?
diapers.
I don't know. They just take a pill now or something.
Take a pill. Oh, that's funny.
Diapers on the moon. This is changing my feelings a little bit.
Right?
Only a little, though. I would wear a diaper.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would do that. Okay, Bailey, what else?
Oh, no. No, I don't even know. You got me thinking about...
This is one I like a lot, actually. So, what would be the title to a book about you?
Oh. That's deep. I would say, like, about me.
Mm-hmm. It's a book. I'm writing about you. I'm going to title it something.
Collecting Humans.
I love it so much.
The serial killer of Idaho
not
Falls.
A murderer.
Collecting Humans. I'd read that book. That's solid.
Collecting Humans.
Yeah.
It's actually not bad.
Yeah.
It would get you to stop and be like, what is this book?
Yeah.
Right? It would grab some attention.
Yeah, marketing.
It's important.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I like it.
All right, baby.
All right. What's an insult you've received that you're proud of?
I had we were on a girls' trip somewhere, I think, and the person at the store was like, "You're very extra." Like my personality was obviously like a lot for them.
A little much for them. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, "Thank you."
Yeah.
I know I am.
Where do people get off saying things like that?
I don't know. They were older.
Like, I would never, even if I felt that way, I just don't have the rudeness in me to say something like that.
A lot of people do, though.
Weird. Yeah.
Why are people this way?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I forget what I was even telling this guy about, but I was at some like business conference or something. I think I was telling him how I live out in the country and have horses. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't bear to say, I think that's a terrible decision. And so what he would always say was, that's interesting. That's real interesting. Right? It was stuff like that. Was his way of saying, I think you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Anyway, he gave me his card.
It's true.
I never called him though.
I have been asked I have been told once too that they were, and it was like meant as like an insult, like, you're just like your father. Oh. you're such a workaholic. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah.
He's a hard worker, so.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Joke's on you, you dork. Okay, here's my last one then.
Okay.
What's your message to the world?
This is going to sound really cliche.
Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be great.
But just like being yourself, like there's room for everyone. I feel like also in like the business bubble, right? Looking out and being like, oh, like they're already doing it, or like, who am I to do something like this? Your own personality is going to attract the people that like need you in their lives. So we all need like each other to survive. Like, look at how many, like I talk about this all the time, how I don't believe in saturation in markets. Like, look at how many bottles of water brands are at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. And they're all doing great because they're all still on the shelves. How many chiropractors are there? How many dentists? Like, again, you go back to them for how they made you feel as a person. So basically, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. I've always said that I think there's plenty of pie out there for all of us to have a slice of it. And one of the frequent things that I see with particularly like younger entrepreneurs, like as they're just getting started, is they'll say things like, oh, that market's really crowded. That's a really crowded market, or it's really saturated, or whatever. And my response is always the same. I'm like, okay, well, what market is it?
Yeah.
They all are. Unless you've invented a totally unique product, which you haven't because almost nobody does.
Which then would still be a great new market.
Yeah.
It's right? Like
Yeah.
so much hype in that.
I like the most recent water that it's funny you bring this as an example, like the Liquid Death water.
I know exactly what one you're talking about.
It's brand new. Anybody would have told them, like, when they're creating their business plan, is like, this is water. You're crazy, right? There's no way.
Did you know that company went to Rob Dyrdek
No, I didn't know
to become an investor?
Uh-huh.
And he passed on it. He like said this in his podcast. He like passed on it because of like he didn't feel like the branding or like something like met his vibe, and like he kicks himself now for like what they were able to like go and do with it.
It's the only water I buy now.
Yeah.
Because
you have to sell your soul.
You do. Yeah, you do.
To get it.
Well, like water's water, and there's nothing necessarily special about their water, but I just like them as an organization.
Yeah.
I like the brand. I think the marketing's hilarious. Murder Your Thirst, I think, is one of my favorite like taglines I ever heard. And so, so I buy their stuff, and I buy it all the time. Yeah. Because people don't really care about what you do. They care about why you do it. And they care about who you are.
Yeah.
And you talked about that a lot, right?
The power of storytelling.
Power of storytelling.
Yeah.
Like in our business, we're a credit union. Is there anything unique about what we offer? No, of course not. The only thing unique that we offer is ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? It's us. It's the people involved. And that's the thing that our members fall in love with. They fall in love with us. They can get a checking account any old place. There's nothing particularly interesting about that. But they really like Bailey, right? They really like Andrea. They really like the branch manager and Salmon. They really like the people.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep coming back.
That's so true.
It's very true.
Great message to the world. Love it.
I love it.
Thank you so much for coming on. We had a great time. A lot of great advice.
I'm sad it's over.
We can do it again.
Okay.
Let's do it again one day.
Before
Okay.
she has to show her shoes to the world.
Oh.
Cute
throw them up here.
They're amazing.
Which
there's two cameras here. You can just put them right up on the table here.
Sorry to make it.
Look at
They're amazing.
Facebook ad. Right
That's where
here.
that came from?
I hope Facebook serves that up to me now after this.
Yeah. Pink shoes.
Yeah.
Pink shoes.
I need this in my life.
Yeah.
Pink sparkle
Amazing.
shoes. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
We had such a great time.
Fun.
Love all of the advice and the counsel that you gave to all of our listeners. We'll have to do it again, okay?
Yeah, done.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
And we will be back with another episode of the Dragon Slayer podcast by East Idaho Credit Union very soon.
Woo! Amazing.
It's great.